And welcome to Chris Garcia, the Conservative American. I am here with the great Rolando, Larraz, the host of Face the Tribune, and with Andrew Laporta, and he is the
Vice President of Las Vegas Public Radio Station, KIOF 97.9 FM.
Yes, and he was here the last hour on Face the Tribune, and we're going to continue the conversation for the next
KIOF? KIOF. Sure. Okay.
So
How long you been? How long did
Here
you
in Las Vegas, the radio station got its license last March 20th. We went live on the air in 2016. Oh,
Yeah.
This year, I'm sorry.
Because I asked Chris that question. And he didn't
It took us 5 years.
So,
And it's on our website, www.lasvegaspublicradio.org, because we're a 501 charitable nonprofit corporation.
when I went to school, the computers didn't exist.
No, I know that. I know that. I see kids today doing math on their their telephones and stuff.
Go ahead.
My Androids. I know wherever you're coming from. I used to teach when I taught at Mojave County down in Kingman, Arizona, the detention school.
Are you from Kingman?
Yeah, I've down there for 8 years. Nice.
Oh, really?
Kingman.
I used to know Dr. Anderson there.
Oh, skin doctor. Skin doctor.
No, it's regular doctor.
No, he was a skin MD, but he was a skin dermatologist.
Really?
Yeah, right by the hospital, right? Right behind the hospital.
He used to work in the hospital, yeah.
Then he had his office right
But that
there.
was long. Yeah, he probably dead by
Well, he
now.
was. He passed away, let me see, about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, I knew him. He was my dermatologist. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Andrew,
Gray hair guy.
He saved my life twice.
I wanted to ask you, me and Rolando are very big. Rolando was one of the first supporters that came out, and I think Rolando had a lot to do in the Las Vegas Tribune with why the state of Nevada was so close to the election. I mean, he threw his support behind Donald Trump from day one. What do you think will be the differences as far as the communication and radio systems now that we have a different president? Do you think he'll be more pro small radio station compared to our past presidents?
Well, remember, the last year or so, over 1,000 community-based radio stations came online just before the election went off. So basically, it gives another voice in the community, a fresh voice, and an honest voice, I might say, in the community. We're not set up for forums, but we will be set up very shortly. We're working hard at that. Our programming, we've been working very, very hard to get the educational part out because we're an educational type station. The idea is to educate the public, and people need to take an interest in their government, and especially at this day and age, when basically a lot of people think that it's been bought and sold by bureaucrats, especially with the lobbyists coming in. They think that the lobbyists have ruined this country. And maybe they did, because basically they get what they want. And it seems like even with the Local Community Radio Act, the way it was written, lobbyists interfered in its writing because they didn't want competition. That's the name of the game. In the free markets, you step on the competition. Stop them out, get rid of them. Get them off the markets. Why? It interferes with the money process. Once if they can gain
And you know, it's funny because Las Vegas Tribune is different than that. And now there's a new newspaper coming out, the Nevada Independent, with John Ralston and Elizabeth Thompson. They're putting out the Nevada Independent. And the editorial in Las Vegas Tribune this week is welcome them to the market. I believe that you see, that's the difference between the Review Journal and the Las Vegas Tribune. The Review Journal want to eliminate every newspaper. They have done that for years. They eliminated the competition. They eliminated the North Las Vegas Valley Times. They eliminated directly or indirectly Las Vegas Sun because they put them in there. And I tell you, I guarantee you that probably 80% of the people don't read Las Vegas Sun. They just keep going. And the Spanish newspaper, they tried to buy El Mundo, and Eddie Escobedo, rest in peace, he didn't want to sell it. And they bought El Tiempo, and they own El Tiempo. There's a black and white magazine from the Bailey family, Bob Bailey's daughter and her husband. They team up and they have to get out because they want to control everything. What do they know about black community? They don't know anything about the black community, but they want to control it. And that's the reason why they try to eliminate us, but they can't. They can't because
in public radio it's a little different because we got, basically here in Las Vegas you have KCEP, and they're very strong in the black community, and they're doing very well out the gate. They've been there for a number of years, and they have great
and they are very racist.
Great leadership, but then once again they're doing their thing. Like
I went there to get a radio show, and you know what they told me? That's the one over there in North Las Vegas, right? 88.1?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what they told me when I went there? I was going to buy time. You know what they told me? You cannot have a radio show here. You're not black.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I put them in the paper every time. Wow. Las Vegas Sentinel Voice was the only newspaper in Las Vegas, a black newspaper. There was two papers, the Sentinel and the Voice. The guy that owned the Sentinel wants to buy the Voice. I loaned him the money to buy the Voice. Mr. Lee. No, Lee is the son. Lee Brown. Lee Brown. The guy used to be a general, lieutenant or something. Very nice. He's dead now. Him and his wife started the Sentinel. And they wanted to buy the Voice to eliminate the competition. And that's how it became the Las Vegas Sentinel Voice. Because I loaned them the money. They pay me back, but I loaned them the money. When the Spanish newspaper that I used to own closed, I went to Lee Brown because the elder Brown died already. I went to Lee, his son, and asked him to let me write a column. And he told me he cannot let me write a column because I'm not black.
Oh, wow.
If a white person will tell a black person, you cannot write a column in the Tribune because you are not white, we've been up for a lawsuit, and we've been
Jesse Jackson would show up.
Huh?
Jesse Jackson would show up, and Al Sharpton. They would show up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
This is sad.
It is sad. It's sad. Because I think, in my own mind, in my own disturbed mind, I think I contributed to create that newspaper by loaning the guy the money to buy the other paper. It was the only black newspaper in the state of Nevada. And you know that they have to close because the black community did not support that paper. In the whole state.
That's cool. That's good. That's good.
For 40 years, there was the only black newspaper. And they have to close. Ramon come here all the time. Ramon bought the paper from Lee Brown. Ramon Savoy. Ramon come here all the time. And he closed the paper because he could not afford it.
When we first went into public radio, we were trying to, first of all, I was looking for something to do in my retirement, to be honest with you. Secondly, we had the technological wherewithal to do it. And it was a challenge. Like, can we really do this stuff? And we found out we had it all. Our engineers come from all over. If you go to our website and go to the management, corporate management, it's on the toolbar there, corporate. You click on corporate. Some of the finest minds in America come from Honeywell. We have Fitz Walker, Honeywell. He's out of Honeywell, Texas, Arlington, Texas, right? Fort Worth area, Honeywell. And by the way, he has his own radio station down there too. So Fitz, we've known Fitz for years and years and years, and he had a desire. And the other folks that come up that have worked with us, you take a look at them, University of California, Davis, University of Southern California, our people are coming from all over that helped us start the station. Our chairman of the board, Gary Grocke, he comes from some of the best at Purdue University, some of the highest level universities in America. And so the idea was, though, well, you guys want to get on the air, we'll help you out. They did. They stuck with us, and they're still with us today because they believe in what? Two things: the U.S. Constitution, number one, and leaving a legacy, helping American people. There's no one that can have a greater feeling leaving this life a bit better. Can I just quote to you one philosopher? His name is Ralph. One philosopher that comes to mind, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson was a great writer, right, in American history. Well, when Henry David Thoreau went to jail, remember Henry David Thoreau didn't want to pay his taxes. They were taxing him to death up there in Massachusetts. Remember that whole thing? Okay? They were taxing him to death. Yeah. By the way, that was a whole Mitt Romney too for a while. But in any event, this is what he said. He went to visit, Emerson went to visit Thoreau in jail. And Thoreau said, first question came out of Emerson's mouth was, Henry, what are you doing in there? And Henry came right back and said, Ralph, what are you doing out there? Because they were taxing. Yes. Okay, they just protested what? Breaking away from Mother England, right? Right. Getting away from King George III. So this is what Henry asked Ralph, then we're all here, then you're not here, I'm not there, then what's the meaning of life? Where do you get off? How do you get off? What's the true meaning of life? And this is what he said, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah, that happened in Cuba.
This is what he said, quote unquote, to laugh often and much.
That happened in Cuba with the Bay of Pigs. In Cuba, there was no really that much of a racist issue. The black people have no interest in going to the white area for anything. They got their own club, they got their own everything. Bay of Pigs came, they all got arrested. Fidel Castro found a black guy over there, and he said, what are you doing in there? I said, and the guy said, because I don't want to be there. You know?
So there's a similarity there. Yeah. Historical aspects. But going back just a little bit, quote unquote, Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the greats in our history. The meaning of life, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people, to endure the betrayal of false friends, to earn the affection of children, to leave this life a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. This is to have succeeded and understood the meaning of life. Ralph Waldo Emerson, God bless and rest his soul. And this is when we came about trying to start the radio station. This is all we have left for our posterity, our words. Our words. That's all we have left, our words in history. And they'll fade too. Although there's one of them that said, heaven and earth will fade away, but my words will never fade away. We know all that was JC, right? But basically speaking, there's so much out there that's being challenged today. The wrong is trying to correct, and the right is trying to correct the wrong. The wrong is the devil's in the world, whatever, and it's fighting everything. So then along comes a guy like Trump, Donald J. Trump, okay, that comes on and upsets the whole apple cart, because why? Maybe his dad taught him the rule of law, which he probably did, because he's obeyed it. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't swear, whatever. Okay, we all date, so maybe what the heck. But all in all, when it's all been said and done, he's trying to do the right thing.
I blame him for not allowing me to retire.
Yeah, so none of us want to retire. Exactly.
Because I said if Hillary Clinton win, I retire. Oh. And he won.
He wasn't going to let him.
It was his fault. It is his fault. Then I'm not retired today.
Well,
I'm ready to go jump with you if you want to do something with that radio station.
The last hour we mentioned that there were some reasons that we went into the radio. I mentioned my late brother-in-law, Captain Dr. Anthony Paul Fabiano from Connecticut, who died of Agent Orange. Vietnam. He was a surgeon, by the way. That's kind of tough to take, a 23-year-old surgeon getting killed in Vietnam for a war that was undeclared. But that's hither or thither. He's long gone. But there was another person that struck me in this life. We met him in San Diego, California, at a Chamber of Commerce dinner. And watch this name now. It's very prominent in American history. James H. Amos, A-M-O-S, Jr. Remember mailboxes, etc.?
Yeah.
Well, he was dying. Actually, he was dying. He was shot in Vietnam. He was a U.S. Marine, and I revered him. I met this guy. He was the longest hug of my life. I hugged this guy longer than anybody I've ever hugged. Not even my wife got hugged this way. But I hugged this guy because of what he stood for. He said, Andrew, when I was dying in the mud in Vietnam, he was shot, left for dead, before they came in to get him. You know, he heard the helicopters about coming to get him. He said, I said, God, if you're up there, whatever you're up there, whatever spirit you're up there, please let me live. All these guys that are in my unit are going to need jobs. And I was trying to do that before I came into the Marine Corps, create jobs. Please let me live. James H. Amos Jr. started mailboxes, etc., which you know today as FedEx.
Yes.
He sold to FedEx. Yes. Now, the story doesn't end there, because James H. Amos, a friend of mine, after he got out of FedEx, he's like you, Rolando, he started Tasty Delight. He was the former CEO, president and CEO of the board of Tasty Delight, and now he's retired from that. But one of the greatest Americans that ever lived. He wrote a book called America at the Crossroads. It was published in 2002. I read the whole book cover to cover. He talked at this time about if we don't straighten out our country and get our act together, we're going to become a third world country. He was a great American, this James H. Amos Jr., and he's still alive, but that book stuck in my mind, America at the Crossroads. It's almost like Tom Cruise said, America, love it or leave it. Remember the picture? Love it or leave it? We're at that point now.
You mean Ted Cruz?
No. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
The other Cruz.
The other Cruz. But in any event, these people that touch you along the way, don't give up the dream. Now that happened in 2002. That's 15 years ago when I met James H. Amos Jr. And here we are in Las Vegas with a startup radio station, Las Vegas Public Radio, KIOF 97.9, and all these people that touch you, they make you, it's like you're going in one direction, and maybe you think that life is all in that one direction. It isn't. It doesn't happen that way. You get a wake-up call from your Creator. And even Socrates got it, the Greek, on his deathbed. He got a wake-up call. And he was asked on his deathbed about this absolute, is about absolute. Are we absolute like a smorgasbord? Did our Creator pick and choose who we are? And this is who we are? And it comes like out of a smorgasbord. And in that same breath, Socrates said, the truth is absolute. Only the truth is absolute in this life. Think about it, Rolando. The Las Vegas Tribune has been set up on truth. And I've been revering the truth. And I read Socrates, I've read Plato.
So if we're playing on the truth, I have to tell the truth. I am sitting in Chris Garcia's seat because I was too lazy to move out of here when we changed it.
Right.
You know.
So I think it's just because he's on the far right.
Let me tell you something. I speak honestly, and I don't like to get mushy. But when he was talking about retiring, if Hillary Clinton won, I said if he blesses me and allows me to do his show, I'll never sit in that seat. That seat will always be empty because it's his seat. And I'll sit here and I'll do the show, but that seat will always be his seat. And I think that's the way it should be. I think I should sit here and I think he should always sit there, even if I do my show.
Well,
you talk about legacy. You talk about legacy.
But this is conservative America. I'm just have a big mouth and
he's the legacy. He's the living legend.
Maybe you're the voice that wants to be heard. You ever hear that song, Do I Hear You Calling in the Night? Is it I, Lord?
No.
Never heard that song?
No.
Is it I, Lord? Well, in Christian, well, that's part of Christianity. But basically, there's stuff going on. Do I hear you calling in the night? Obviously, he heard your name, and he's using you as a tool, as an instrument of peace. The truth will never fade away. Heaven and earth will fade away, but my words will never fade away.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary language in my book.
Next week, and I put a plug into my show for next week. Yeah. Next Friday, Josh Cedric Kearns is going to be in the show, and he's the chief judge in municipal court, and he's going to be in Face the Tribune next Friday.
In this day and age, it's got to be
third.
It's got to be pretty tough to be a judge, because if you look at maybe, I'll give you 5 instances in history, that are recent history, where the U.S., well, they gave us Citizens United. See, with the U.S. Supreme Court, why are they legislating from the bench? That should have never happened. Citizens United, which is dark money in politics, should have never been approved. The lobbyists overran the Supreme Court of the United States. They sold America's soul to the devil, allowing dark money to come into politics. So when you look at that one decision, Citizens United, it should be overturned. And I think this administration might do that. They might overturn it. It might just happen because it's wrong, number one. Number two, we talked earlier when the U.S. Supreme Court, U.S. District Court, allowed television stations to own newspapers and radio stations in their same local market area. That's a fallacy. That's a decision that should have never went down. Second decision. Should have never happened in American history. But it did. We live with it because...
Why? Why?
Well, because the U.S. Supreme Court is a small room. It's a small area. It's very strict. To get into there, the common folk can't get in there. It's so highly regulated to get into, to go be a person to go even watch one of their secretive meetings, because that's what it is. When you start shutting out people, you've got what? Censorship. So it's secretive. The U.S. Supreme Court becomes secretive in their dealings. It's like the daily politics of Chicago years ago, behind closed doors, right? So we think about all this. Well, what's going on here, folks? When a U.S. district judge waters down Exxon Valdez is fined for screwing up Alaskan coast, dumping the oil, killing all the beautiful wildlife up there. They were fined. They had an exit. They were tried by a jury, by the way. The jury awarded punitive damages and one amount. Why did a U.S. district judge water that amount down? Yeah, instead of fighting for the people had spoken. The punitive damage were set. If they were set at $7 billion or $5 billion, what it was, that should be the penalty to be paid. It doesn't happen like that in the court system. The U.S. district judge watered it down, and they paid half of what the fine was. Same thing with BP in the Gulf of Mexico, British Petroleum. They went to the Gulf of Mexico. We all know what happened. There's a movie out today, whatever it is, but we know what happened. But here's another example of the court system watering down a fine. Trial by jury, that's what happens. $30 billion fine. Billion. Now, it's already been shredded by a U.S. district judge. Why? Who's in bed with who? Are the judges in bed with the corporations? Where does we the people come into the play? Where does we the people come in here? Questions unanswered. If you go and you want to, well, right here in Nevada, if you're 70 years old, I guess if you're 70, you don't have to actually be, if you're called to jury duty, you don't have to go into jury anymore because there's an age limit. They cut you off. You know, you can elect not to go. You can still go, but you can elect not to go.
Really?
But the question comes into play, when you go into that jury room, do you uphold the Constitution? Do you swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America as it's written? Well, that's coming into play today. As it's written, who wrote it? What kind of people wrote it? See? So that's the question today. If they were slave owners, they gave up the mineral rights under America. I don't know if I want to do business with those people. They sold us out. See? So those are the questions young people have today. These are the questions that have been unanswered in schools of law for years and years. Swept under the carpet. Don't ask questions when you're in law school. Well, what the heck? Law school is supposed to be where you get questions. You're supposed to document compelling evidence, right? And you're supposed to be able to take the evidence, sort it out, and say, well, did it really happen? Let's get at the truth. Absolutely. So if the truth of the matter is there, shame on all our U.S. district courts that are not going by we the people. They're saying, well, we go with what's best for the people. Well, what can be best when, I'll give you one big example. I said there were 5, right? Here's the biggest of them all. Why did the Congress allow the Federal Reserve System? Congress put an office inside the Federal Reserve to regulate itself in New York, the New York Fed. They put an office. Now, how do you have an office inside a building you're regulating? To see they're not going to tell you anything about their business.
Absolutely. So
the office, if people sit there, it's all showmanship. It's like window dressing. The person sit there, okay, and guess what happens? Nothing gets done. And we have today, they went up on the 0.75% to borrow money, didn't they?
Yes.
Janet Yellen, she just went up because they said it's leveling off.
Yes.
Is it really leveling off? We are now $20 trillion in debt. And that's a big if, because the unfunded pensions that maybe add up to $200 trillion,
That's
are never going to be paid. So that's
it.
a fallacy in itself. But here's the deal. You saw about the Federal Reserve, what they did there. The Federal Reserve is what? We talked about Corporation of Public Broadcasting. Private or public? It's privately owned by 6 major banks. But yet, public monies flow through there because the U.S. government cannot be in the banking business. Okay, that's okay. There's one more. You want to shut it down?
Yeah.
But was that 5 good examples?
Absolutely.
I could go on. I give you 10.
Absolutely. We would love to have
You
you
need to
back.
come back.
I'll give you the other 5 when I
We
come
would
back.
love to have you back. We've gone over our time today. Thank you so much for watching. Que tengan un día. Have a good day. God bless America. Godspeed to Donald Trump. And God protect our troops all over the world. Thank you, Andrew, for being our guest today. Thank you so much. And of course, the legendary Rolando Larraz. And catch him from 12 to 1 o'clock, Mr. Tribune. 12 to 1 o'clock on Face the Tribune. We stream live on radiotribune.com. And we will be up on YouTube later on Esta Noche this evening. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.